In this video, I'm going to show you how to enter employees into the Wisconsin State Pyramid Model Implementation Data System, or PIDS. To enter employees, you need to go to the employee dashboard, which you can do by clicking on Dashboards in the right-hand corner, and then Employees, or you can use the left side menu and click on Employees over here. You should enter all adults who are currently employed by your program, including all regular classroom staff, whether or not they are being coached or being observed using the TPAD or Tippy Toes. You also need to enter all persons who are responsible for coaching or for completing TPAD and Tippy Toes observations in your program, even if those people are not technically employed by your program. To enter a new employee, you're going to click this blue button, Add New Employee. And then you'll start by entering some basic information like first name and last name. You get to make up an ID number. Remember that ID numbers are used to keep people anonymous at some viewing levels and in some reports. So they can be any combination of letters and numbers, but you just want to make sure that someone wouldn't be able to figure out who it is. You're going to enter an email. If the person doesn't have an email, you can make one up. But this is a required field, so you do have to put something in there. And then you're going to put in a hire date. The last two fields are termination date and termination reason, and you will not fill this out at this time because you should only be entering new employees or current employees. You will fill this out when an employee leaves. Once you have that basic information in, go ahead and click Save. And that will bring us up some additional information to complete for each employee. As I scroll down, you can see that there are 3 new sections associated with this employee record, including trainings, job functions, and classroom assignment history. You need to complete job functions and classroom assignment history when applicable for each employee. The training section is a place that you can record pyramid model trainings for employees. For job functions, when you're ready to add a new job function, you'll click over here on this blue button, Add New Job Function. And that'll bring up this menu here. You will want to assign a job function for every employee you enter into PIDS. PIDS has a lot of different job functions. The ones that you need to be the most concerned with are teacher, teaching assistant, classroom coach, TPOT reliable observer, and Tippy Toes reliable observer. Teachers and teaching assistants are the only 2 job functions who can be observed using a TPOT or Tippy Toes. Classroom coaches are the only job functions who can be associated with the coaching piece of coaching logs. And TPOT reliable observers and Tippy Toes reliable observers are the only job functions who can be associated with the observing of TPOTs and Tippy Toes in the system. You can assign more than one role for each employee, so you just want to select the one that's the most appropriate, and you can always add more if they have more than one role. One thing to note, the role of classroom coach, TPOT reliable observer, and Tippy Toes reliable observer also has to be approved at the state level in order to have that employee show up to enter coaching logs or TPOT or Tippy Toes observations. So like I said, you'll just pick whichever one is the most appropriate, and you can enter more than one. You'll put in a start date, and you just want to make sure that your start date is after or on your hire date. And when you have job function and start date in, go ahead and click Save to save the section. Finally, you'll want to complete the classroom assignment history for every employee or staff member who is consistently assigned to the same classroom. This may not apply to people who are not employed by your program or people who are responsible for people who are not consistently in a classroom, like a director or a coach potentially. But for every employee who is consistently in a classroom, you do want to complete this section by adding a new assignment. So clicking the blue button that says Add New Assignment, putting in an assigned date, so the date they started in the classroom, selecting the classroom they're in, and entering the classroom job that they do. You can see the last two fields are leave date and leave reason. And again, you will not complete these at this time because you should be entering current employees. When that employee leaves the classroom or leaves the program, you will complete those fields. You can click save and save this section here, and then click the save at the very bottom to save the entire employee record. And now you can see this is my teacher right here. If I need to edit something, I can go to Actions and then Edit. And that's how you enter an employee into PIDS.